స్వాగతం. నా పేరు నరహరి. ఈ రోజు వార్తల్లో ముఖ్యాంశాలు. ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ చీఫ్ కమిషనర్ రేష్మి సక్సన్ సాహ్ని కామెంట్స్. పన్ను చెల్లింపు విధానంలో వచ్చిన నూతన పోకడాలు, సాంకేతిక అభివృద్ధి విధానాల పట్ల పన్ను చెల్లింపుదారులు విధానంలో సహకరించే ట్యాక్స్ కన్సల్టెంట్ను అవగాహన పెంచుకోవాలి. ట్యాక్స్ చెల్లింపు నుంచి మినహాయింపు కలిగి ఉన్నవారు కూడా ట్యాక్స్ రిటర్న్స్ ఫైల్ చేయాలి. రిటర్న్స్ ఫైల్ చేసేటప్పుడు అన్ని కోలమ్స్ పూర్తి చేసి సమగ్ర సమాచారం ఇవ్వాలి. తప్పుడు సమాచారం ఇచ్చినా, గోప్యంగా ఉంచిన విధానపరమైన చర్యలు తప్పవు. ఆలయాలు, చర్చిలు, ట్రస్టులు వంటి ట్యాక్స్ చెల్లింపు మినహాయింపు కలిగిన సంస్థలు ఫారం 7 ద్వారా మినహాయింపు రిటర్న్స్ దాఖలు చేయాలి. పన్ను చెల్లింపుదారులకు వరదలు అయిన సిఏలు, ట్యాక్స్ కన్సల్టెంట్లను సమావేశపరిచి అవగాహన కల్పిస్తున్నాము. గతంలో కంటే ఇప్పుడు పన్ను చెల్లింపు విషయంలో పాజిటివ్గా ముందుకు వస్తున్నారు. ఇది మరింత పెరగాలి. సకాలంలో ఐటీఆర్ ఫైల్ చేయడం ఎంత ముఖ్యమో సమగ్ర ఫైల్ చేయడం అంటే మరీ ముఖ్యం. గతంలో ఉన్న పన్ను చెల్లింపుదారుల కంటే ఇప్పుడు లక్షల్లో పెరిగింది. ఇది పూర్తి స్థాయిలో జరిగితే దేశ స్వతంత్ర పౌరునిగా బాధ్యత వహించినట్లు అవుతుంది. ఐటీఆర్ ఫైల్ చేయడానికి జూలై 31 వరకు ఆఖరి తేదీని, చివరి వరకు ఆగితే సాంకేతిక సమస్యలు బాధపడవలసి వస్తుందని ఆమె అన్నారు.
Good afternoon to all of you. Madam Rashmi Saxena Sahena, ma'am, is Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax Exemption today for the review of the program, in the morning and outreach. So, Madam will address the press, highlighting important points and will be circulating one press note for your information. So, you can reach Madam as a Assistant Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner in the same place. Given a broad picture about the recent changes and what to be filing the returns of income. I request all of you to please highlight these points so that there will be tax practitioners also.
In fact, we always say
Over to ma'am.
Thank you. Exemptions, as we all know, deal with the assessments and the tax administration of all the trusts, and this assessment is very different from a normal assessment because we do not deal with profit and loss account, but we deal with income and expenditure analysis of the trust. We see whether the trusts are applying the funds which they have generated for the purposes for which they have been set up, which could be charitable, education, health, environment, etc. And we also have a responsibility to see that the assessment is done in a fair and reasonable manner so that there are no errors. But in this process we find that sometimes the taxpayers themselves are not in a position to file the return of income correctly, which is ITR 7 for them, for the trust, and because of which the erroneous filing of the ITR, sometimes huge demands are raised denying them the exemption. Now, the whole purpose of being here and having this outreach program is to have a dialogue with the tax practitioners also, so that they are able to explain it to their clients that what are the details which are needed. For example, we have made it mandatory now that the donors list must be included with your tax return. In the earlier times that was not needed, and if you have to give the donors list, then you have to have all the details of the donor including their PAN, etc., etc. So it is imperative for the taxpayer to start maintaining those kind of details. So this dialogue which we plan to have with the tax practitioners, or which we are having with the tax practitioners and the tax administrators, is an important feature in our outreach in an effort to reach out and explain the provisions of the Act, because in the last 2 years there have been a lot of amendments to the trust administration. For example, now we have online provisional registration, which is for a period of 3 years. Thereafter, you have to come for renewal of your registration, and that is the time when verification is done that whether you have used the funds which you have received in the manner in which they were supposed to be utilized as per your memorandum of association, as well as the provisions of the Income Tax Act. So it is in this context we are here today, and we find that the CIT exemptions Hyderabad actually has a jurisdiction which spans 3 states, which is Telangana, Andhra and Odisha. So it is important to be able to interact with the tax practitioners of these areas on one-to-one basis, so that they are able to understand the new changes which have been brought about, and they are able to help us in the improving the tax administration of the trust. So this is the purpose why we are here today, and we hope that we will be able to succeed in our mission. In the morning, of course, I did a review of the work done by the officers of this Visakhapatnam charge, and we find that they have also been reaching out to the taxpayers, telling them explaining the provisions of the amendments which have come across, which have been recently introduced, and so we hope that we will build up a better partnership and have a tax administration for trust entities which is both fair, judicious as well as non-adversarial, and which leads to better philanthropic activity in the country. Thank you. Messenger between the two. If you carry the information which will reach out to a lot of taxpayers, and that's our purpose in inviting all of you to be with us here today afternoon. And I'm grateful that all of you have taken time out and are here with us to carry this further, and thank you so much.
And one more what attitude developed after GST?
See, right from beginning, over the years, the effort is to increase voluntary compliance, both in the direct taxes as well as in the indirect taxes. So, in the recent years, I think the younger generation especially is very alert to its responsibilities as a taxpayer, and they have been forthcoming. And since both the departments have started using technology in a big way, and the young taxpayers are very tech savvy, it has helped in reaching out to them positively, and definitely the voluntary compliance has increased, and tax is no longer considered a taboo. We've been reiterating often that every taxpayer is a nation builder and contributor to the building of the nation, which is true. And if you see all round development around the country, it is with taxpayers' money, and definitely our taxpayers are much more forthcoming, much more willing, and the partnership is a good partnership between the department and the taxpayers. The voluntary compliance has increased. If I remember, in Vizag we probably had very few in lakhs. Probably now the tax base would be, I think, must be touching almost 90 lakhs or something. At that time it must be 9-10 lakhs or something. So, but these are random figures, I can't say with certainty. But yes, overall there is an increase in the taxpayer base.